goes to right. Russell Westbrook. You love the Philadelphia Eagles. Let me get a hell yeah!
What is up, everybody? What's going on? Welcome to another edition of Party on Broad. Today, we are breaking down an interesting combo guard prospect named Quentin. Quentin Grimes. Jeez. Anyway, we're breaking down his strengths, we're breaking down his weaknesses, and we're going to talk about his fit with the Philadelphia 76ers. If you guys love Sixers, give this video a like. And joining me today is the man, the myth, the legend. He is Tiago. Give him a follow on Twitter at @tscabia. Good morning, Tiago.
Morning, Chris. It's easy to forget Quentin Grimes' names because he kind of was off the radar for a while. But he's back, man. He's definitely back. Talked about here in the NBA draft.
All right, let's break it down. Quick overview. Who is Quentin Grimes? Let's start the tape. Go ahead, Tiago.
Yeah, so folks may not know this. Grimes was a 5-star recruit out of, I believe, Texas, and went to Kansas freshman year under Bill Self. If you look at that recruiting class, he was the 8th highest recruit. So that's higher than names like Keldon Johnson, Tyler Hero, and Emmanuel Quickly. So that is the type of pedigree that you're talking about with Quentin Grimes right off the bat. Now, he went to Bill Self's program, and we talked about this with Abaji in one of our previous draft podcasts. He's one of the guys who did not make it to Bill Self. So he just did not fit very well with that whole system, and Self can be very demanding. So what happened was he put his name into the NBA draft waters his freshman year, and Kansas assumed that he was going to be going through the whole process and filled out additional roster spot in the program. So when Grimes got the word that perhaps he should go back to college, he really didn't have any room at Kansas, and that took him to Houston. And at Houston, man, he has been an entirely different player. I mean, AAC Player of the Year last year, a huge part of Houston's program. I mean, he completely lifted Houston's program to new heights this year. The 5th best offense. So you start putting this together, and you start seeing, what the potential of Grimes is, being that he was the main guy of that program, and they went all the way to the Final Four, losing to Baylor in a pretty close game. So overall, winner, a guy with pedigree, a guy who's not being talked about so much in the first round. But if you have that second round pick available to you, man, it's going to be tough to say no to a player who fits a lot of the box that you want in a contending team, right? So winning plays, and then we'll talk about the strengths, but shooting, all that kind of stuff. So a lot to work with Grimes here as well, too.
All right, let's get into strengths. Clearly, the first thing we got to talk about is his three-point shooting. He was one of the best last year, 40.3% on over 8 attempts per game. He led the AAC in three-pointers made last year with 100 total three-pointers. This guy is a floor spacer. Tiago, what's some of your strengths for Quentin Grimes?
Yeah, I think, you touched on it, Chris. It's the shooting stroke. It's pure. It's balanced, and he's got phenomenal shooting range. He's deceptively athletic. He's got great size. So he's at, I think, 6'4", I think, something like that. So, but again, he's got that deceptive athleticism to create space for himself as well. Come off motion. You see it right there, stationary. It looks very pure. You need more consistency from his shooting game. That's something he'll go for 28-point game and then go for a 6-point game. So if you get more consistency out of his shooting, it would be ideal. But I think that, we talked about a guy like Isaiah Livers, right? So a guy who's going to give you shooting, that part of it, I think it's going to translate very well, especially in catch and shoot situations. And again, similar to Livers, it's the ability to contribute on both ends of the court. So again, he's never going to be like a point of attack, primary defender. But if you watch him in space, if you watch him recognizing how the offense wants to attack, you can clearly see that's a high-level IQ player. And it shows on the numbers. The steals numbers went up pretty significantly last year playing for Houston. It's a guy who kind of understands how teams want to attack, see cutters, identify where the steal opportunities are in the half court. So I think those things play out very well for him, and with the fit with the Sixers. Again, a guy who came off the bench, give you some shooting, and also give you some plus defense. And I'll say this, on the ball, he's not going to overwhelm you, but Houston has him running some pick and rolls. And again, he's not a dynamic kind of pick and roll player, but he can make some pretty nice, pretty quick, and pretty decisive pick and roll reads. So again, if you just need that extra kind of like pick and roll ball handler, he can perhaps give you some of that off the bench as well.
And, strictly speaking on the Sixers, I actually like that he's actually an older prospect. He's 21 years old. It's definitely more of a plug-and-play kind of prospect than some of the others we have covered. Tiago, what's your quick take on his defense? Because it's like you look at this guy as a potential 3-and-D guy. Houston was one of the best in the NCAA in defense. He was a key cog of that. Do you think that translates to the NBA?
I think as a space defender, yes. I think he's going to have very difficult time in the perimeter because I don't see the foot speed really. So if he gets switched on like a John Wall or something like that, it's really going to put your defense integrity in question because he's not going to have the ability to stay in front of him. And not many players are, to be honest. But just like a bigger guard, a little slower. But that does not mean he can't be a plus defender. One of the things that I like, and I was thinking about when I was watching him, is he's still only 21 and he's again a strong guy with a great frame. So can he perhaps develop, the ability to kind of turn into like a small forward, almost like a stretch four kind of player?
Interesting.
I'm not saying, he's probably a little small to be like a stretch forward, but perhaps like a small forward type combo forward kind of thing. So I think at that, if you kind of get that out of this player, then I think you're getting more than just spot up shooting because now you can really kind of attack those mismatches. And what that does is that makes up, for some of his defensive efficiency on the other end through his scoring. So yes, he's never going to be a plus defender at the NBA level, but his ability to create defensive events and play off the ball are definitely pluses for me.
All right, let's go quickly into weaknesses. The first thing that screams off the box score here, for me at least, per 40 minutes, 2.2 turnovers, 2.4 assists. Clearly, he doesn't get others involved, and he hasn't done that in his 2 years at Houston and a year at Kansas. What's your take on this guy's weaknesses, Tiago?
I mean, it's really around, as a ball handler. So if he's going to be a guard in your lineup, you're not going to get much of any shot creation from him. Attacking downhill, you rarely see that. Ability to draw contact at the rim. And, again, he's a strong guy, but, ability to get to the free throw line. Don't really see that much. So, again, those are big weaknesses for me. Again, if he's going to be kind of a ball handling guard in your offense. Just a lot of passivity in the half court. So a lot of times he accepts the offense running away from him and other guys taking shots. And, he was Houston's best player. So you kind of wish that he kind of took on more of aggressive approach in the offense. But again, for the Sixers, and we talk about the Sixers fit, that's not necessarily a bad thing because he's just not going to be running offense in Philadelphia. So that to me actually turns out to be a positive, is a guy who can accept offense in lower usage situations. And that's exactly what the Sixers need around Ben. And I'm sorry, assuming that Ben is back, and around Joel Embiid. It's exactly the kind of player who, accepts that catch and shoot role, doesn't try to do too much, and kind of fits in that system.
Yeah, he definitely seems like to be that classic role player, at the next level. Let's talk fit with the Sixers. How do you like this fit, Tiago?
Yeah, so the name that immediately comes to mind is Furkan Korkmaz. Not so much from a little bit from a fit perspective for sure, but just from the fact that I don't think Korkmaz is going to be back. I think he's probably going to get some money somewhere else this offseason and move on to new pastures. And Grimes is that guy, man. I mean, he's going to come in, and assuming Doc Rivers does not hate all rookies, he should be able to play pretty early in his career because, again, the shooting element and the polish on defense. So, if the Sixers do move away from Korkmaz, he is one of the most cleanest fits with Philadelphia to come in and give you, 5, 10, 12 minutes, and even give you some spot-up starting opportunities. I mean, the Sixers are using Korkmaz as the starter right now. It's not all great. It's not all roses, but I don't think anybody can look at Korkmaz and be like, man, it's been really bad. Like, he's been okay. He hasn't been terrible. And I think that's what Grimes will be like. You know, you watch him on the court, and it's like, okay, he's shooting. He's doing his thing. He's not killing us on the defensive end. So, yeah, that's what I would expect, and that's what I see what the fit is with the Sixers.
I like that a lot. I'm sold.
Yeah, man.
I'm completely sold as a floor spacer in that role for Furkan. Like, that is it, man. I love the potential idea of like a Maxey, Isaiah Joe, Quentin Grimes, backcourt. I think that could be okay. I would be definitely okay with that. So any final thoughts too before we wrap this up? And where can we find you, bro?
Yeah, man, just, we'll continue to do these throughout the process here. Really try identifying guys who we think are great fits with the Sixers, and we usually land on shooting, ball handling, which seems to be pretty obvious. But there's some bigs there I think would also fit the Sixers' approach, so definitely look out for those.
All right, that is the man, Tiago. Give him a follow on Twitter at @tscabby. If you guys love the NBA draft and the Philadelphia 76ers, give this video a like, but also catch up on all the draft prospects we have done so far. I think we've done 20 now, 20 plus. So just, go to the Painted Lines YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button, and go to playlists, NBA Draft, Party on Broad. They are all there. So as we ramp up our coverage for the NBA Draft, be sure to, truly catch up and hang out with us every Saturday morning as we talk Sixers draft. We have Ben Butler joining us. Say good night from Australia. Good morning from Philadelphia. It's bright and early after a huge Sixers Game 6 W. I'm a little groggy this morning. But anyway, guys, thank you everyone for watching. Please be sure to give Tiago a follow on Twitter at @tscabby. For myself, for Tiago, thanks for watching, guys. Stay awesome.
Sixers win it! Wow! Oh man, and being just posterized Russell Westbrook. You love the Phillies!